It can be hard to find common bonds with kids and teens these days, but my next guest may have just found the key that's going to help us with our family bonding. Welcome Amber Mamian of Global Munchkins. Hi Amber, welcome to the Sami Cone Show.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
I'm so excited. You know, I found you through this video you did with an insanely popular chocolate chip cookie recipe that you've developed. But what struck me was how you used it to really bond with your kids. First, tell me about this cookie and why it is so good.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Number one, because I brown the butter. I think that's like key to a really good cookie. And I salt them. And they have two different kinds of chocolate chips. So it's got a lot going on. Flavor-wise.
That's amazing. And you've got some dough that you've made up already, right? And you're going to kind of show. Okay, so do you keep that on hand, like so that it's ready? I mean, you're a mom of 6 through both birth and adoption. So what does your house look like, and how are you finding the time to make homemade cookies?
I always have the ingredients on hand because I think it's one of those things, it's become a comfort food. I have 2 kids out of the house, and whenever they come home from college, the one thing that they want is a chocolate chip cookie. And so regardless of if they had a bad day, if they've texted me that they're stressed about a test, I will whip up chocolate chip cookies pretty much on demand and have them here.
That's amazing. And I think, you know, when I saw that video, I don't know if it's the smell that brought them coming or what it was, but it was just this beautiful picture of you just almost being available for your kids, especially your teenagers. And it's so hard to connect with teens these days. What is the key to really making that connection happen?
Every kid and every mom I talk to, kids come home like ravenous. They are starving when they come home. So I've just made it a point to have an hour when I know that they're going to walk through that door where I don't have anything scheduled. Like I am fully available, and a lot of times I have a snack because I've noticed they will sit down to eat with me and I can get them to talk. And that's a really difficult thing to do. You know, to not have them scatter and go to their rooms or log on to social media or something, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, you have from toddler to, as you said, college age, and you do some really fun games with them. I mean, your Instagram Global Munchkins is filled with all of these fun, from holiday games to, you know, fun ways to get them to do chores. How did you start coming up with those ideas?
You know, we really had to work on family bonding. My son Shay, one of my adopted children, he didn't come to us until he was about 4 or 5 years old. And so there was a lot lacking. So I've been very intentional, and I didn't know that it would spill on to like become a thing for our family. But having these games readily available and you know, just fun ways for us to connect as a family has become like paramount to not only like our family life, but it's like spilled onto a business for me as well, you know.
It has. Do you have any, I mean, I mentioned holidays, obviously we have Easter coming up. Do you have any fun spring ideas, even summer ideas for us to really kind of strengthen those family bonds, especially whether it's parents, grandparents, you know, people that work with young people?
For sure. Like I think any type of like game, like you said, there's tons on our feed. We usually have solo cups and ping pong balls available, and we come up with all sorts of fun games, whether it's like, you know, tic-tac-toe and you're trying to do it with the solo cups.
Yeah.
Anything that's really simple that you can do on hand that only takes a few minutes, it seems like you can get people to, you know, to buy into the idea. And the more you do it, the more fun you have.
Well, and you say it's never too late to strengthen family bonds. So what advice would you give for someone that's like, I'm too old, my kids are too old, they're too far gone, social media's taken over? What's something practical that our audience can take away from today?
I think it's to remind themselves, A, it's never too late. And number 2, it's what's the goal? Like, is the goal that you want to be close to your child? You know what I mean? Or close to this adult child that you have? Because if that's the goal, then you have to take the steps that are going to, like, you know, lead you to that thing. So that's going to mean like bringing somebody in and bringing them closer. And that's going to be sharing conversations and sharing food. I mean, it's pretty primal, you know, us as humans want to connect. And so I think that as long as you understand that that's there, that somebody's always going to want to connect and you put forth the effort, I think it can be fruitful.
Yeah, I love that you're doing both. I love that you're doing some of the elaborate and crazy and fun, and then you're just like, we're all hungry. We all want cookies. Speaking of, before we go, is there a trick I know you've got some finished cookies behind you there. Is there a trick to baking them, to finishing them off with the sea salt? What's the key?
For sure. Yeah, you definitely want to finish them off with the sea salt. And I would say another key is don't rush it. Make sure you refrigerate your dough for like 3 hours.
Wow.
That's how you get like nice, you know, nicely formed cookies that are like so good.
That was good. And what are the 2 chips that you use? That's what we have to let people know before we let you go.
Yep, semi-sweet and milk chocolate.
That's it. Well, Amber, thank you so much for joining us. You can check out all of Amber's recipes and fun games on Global Munchkins on Instagram, right? Amber, thank you so much for joining us on the Sami Cone Show today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely.